New polls are examining Americans' attitudes on Roe versus Wade. The polling appears to show broad support of upholding legalized abortion on the federal level. A Fox News poll shows 63% of registered voters support Roe. An ABC Washington Post poll shows 54% of adults support Roe. And according to a Politico poll, 50% of registered voters support it as well. However, these numbers may not tell the whole story. Joining us now to discuss is Michael New, research associate at the Catholic University of America and associate scholar at the Charlotte Lozier Institute. Michael, welcome. Always good to be with you. Let's talk a little bit more about these poll numbers. They seem to indicate that a majority of Americans support Roe versus Wade. I'm wondering, how do you interpret these numbers?
Well, I think the polls that the media outlets released after the draft decision of Justice Alito was leaked are very misleading. I think they suffer from the same two flaws that most polls about Roe v. Wade suffer from. First, they don't really explain what Roe v. Wade did. Roe v. Wade effectively legalized abortion on demand for all 9 months in all 50 states. That's a policy position that a very small percentage of Americans support. Secondly, these polls don't make it clear what would happen if Roe v. Wade's overturned. If Roe v. Wade's overturned, abortion is not banned. Abortion policy returns to the states. So again, I think these polls provide really very little information about what Americans really think about abortion.
The Fox News poll, it actually broke down the topic into more specific questions. If you don't mind, can you talk to us more about that?
Sure, the Fox poll was better than the other polls because it did ask some specific questions about abortion policy. And it did find that a majority of Americans, 54%, would support laws protecting preborn children after 15 weeks gestation. It also found that laws that would protect preborn children after 6 weeks gestation, when a fetal heartbeat can be detected, these laws enjoy plurality support. So the Fox News poll was a lot better because it did ask some specific questions, which really indicated that the pro-life position has strong public support.
The Republican National Committee, they actually commissioned their own poll as well, and it found that only 30% of voters believe abortions should be legal after the unborn child can feel pain at 15 weeks. Michael, I'd like to get your thoughts on that as well.
Sure. I think that polls that ask broad questions about Roe v. Wade or whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, that doesn't really give us good information about what people really think about abortion. The helpful polls are ones that ask about specific policy proposals, like limiting taxpayer funding for abortion, or parental involvement laws, or limits on abortion after the third trimester or second trimester. So this RNC poll was a good poll. It showed very clearly that most Americans really do think that preborn children should be protected after 15 weeks gestation.
And when it comes to polling overall, Michael, what do you think needs to be done to more accurately reflect how Americans really feel, about abortion and also, the sanctity of human life?
I think that, again, the main problem that most polls have is they don't really explain things well. Most of the polls on Roe v. Wade don't really explain what Roe v. Wade did. When they ask about whether people are pro-life or pro-choice, that can be interpreted different ways by different people. Again, the good polls ask about specific policies. Do you think preborn children should be protected after the third trimester? Do you think there should be limits on abortion post-viability? I think when they have specific questions about specific proposals, the pro-life position really enjoys a lot of support. Americans really don't like abortion. The only situations where there's support for abortion are really unique cases involving rape, incest, severe fetal deformity. Most Americans oppose most of the abortions that happen, and the polls really should reflect that.
And not a whole lot of time left right now. Before I let you go, Michael, what else are you following right now?
Obviously, I'm following what's happening at the Supreme Court. I just want pro-life people out there not to be discouraged. I think they're releasing these polls to try to marginalize or discourage us. But if your viewers are involved in pro-life work, whether it's sidewalk counseling, prayer, supporting pregnancy help centers, keep up the work you're doing. Don't be discouraged by these polls. Don't be discouraged by the demonstrations. We have a lot of support amongst Americans, and we're on the verge of some very exciting policy changes that might restore legal protection to thousands of unborn children.
Oh, Michael, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it. Always great to have you on.
No, thanks for having me.